guys. Appreciate you watching this episode of RSG, man. If you may not know, we have just started our Discord channel, man. If you want to be able to sit down with us, have some conversations, have some banter back and forth, come see us.
We have an active channel where you guys can talk with Justin and I regularly, and we have race predictions.
And occasionally on Sunday, you'll be able to speak to Rod and I personally, and also we'll have guests.
And when we drop any announcements or merch, that'll be the first place you can see it.
And we'll also have some lucky fans be able to ask some questions to our guests. So hit the link in the bio.
Justin Gatlin is the latest in a long line of sprint sensations to emerge from the USA.
Gatlin got a good start. Look at this man coming through now. Gatlin. What a fantastic performance from Gatlin. It's all about Gatlin.
Ultimate goal is to be one of the best sprinters in history.
And what a fantastic performance from Gatlin. And look at the time.
It's the American leading the Jamaican at the moment.
He knows he is the world champion.
Justin Gatlin is the world champion here in London.
What up, what up, what up? We in the building again. Ready, set, go. Here we are. Hey, I want to say we have a good special one coming up today, man. We're kind of changing things up just a little bit for y'all, but y'all know who I rock with. My left hand, right here, my man to the side, the green, the bearded wonder himself, Rodney Green in the building, man. What's going on, man?
Right there making it, man. Right there getting it. Prepping these high school kids, getting ready for their high school season and getting ready for another pro season of track.
Boy, you sound like Nas with a head cold, boy. You good over there? You got to clear the throat a little bit?
Nah, it's yelling at the kids, man. You know, when you're coaching, you got to get it. So I apologize to the chat, man. I apologize to everybody.
Speaking of coaches, we got one right here in the building with us. We got Troy Wolf in the building, man. Y'all know him over there for the IG, man. It's that boy over there, T Wolf with the 2 O's, 29 in the building, man. How you doing, bro? You good?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling blessed to be alive and blessed to be here today. I appreciate y'all bringing me on.
Of course, bro. Of course, man. Today we're going to get into more of a feeling what it is, how the season went in our eyes. Everyone has their own opinions on different things, on different topics, right? We're going to give a broad topic today, and you guys just give your take on what that topic's going to look like, right, from your perspective. So our first topic, chat, that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the biggest upsets of the season, right? What is the biggest upset of the season? We're going to have we're polite people. We're going to have Troy go first, man. What was the biggest upset of the season of 2025 for you this year?
I would have to say the 400-meter hurdles the 400-meter at World Championships. Did you know since 1983, since the World Athletic has started running the 400, USA has always had someone in the finals for the men and has always been dominant. This year, we barely, if it wasn't for Ja'Cory, we wouldn't have had anybody in the finals, and that would have been the first time ever. That has never happened. And I just think for the men, we really dropped the ball in the 400, and I was just really sad to see that.
So what was the time? What was the date again? Since
1983. I had to go back and chat GBT it because I was curious. I just went back, kept going back, and I brought back a time period before I was even born. I'm an 89s baby. So my whole life we had somebody in the finals, and this was the first time that it potentially happened. We had somebody scrape in there in the 7th position, but it was a rough one. It was a rough one for me this year.
What do you think the reason why is that? Because
I mean, historically, we've always had that dominant individual, and I always mess up this phrase. High tides raise all ships, and I believe that because this year we didn't have that individual, we didn't have a LaShawn Merritt, we didn't have a Michael Johnson. So it's like there's the times aren't necessarily showing it, and we're not having that competition to really raise all those ships. And I think that's something that really shown at the world level from the USA. Even looking at Childs, we did have that one person who was emerging with Quincy, but unfortunately he got hurt. So nobody truly stepped up to the plate to take that throne to allow everybody to start riding that wave with him.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that one, man. I mean, the fact of we used to have a LaShawn or a Jeremy Warner or a Michael Johnson to take that spot to be the guy who's going to help lead the team to victories in the 4x4 or pave the way to be on top of the podium or somewhere on the podium for Team USA in the men's 400 since 1983. I was 1 year old. I'm dating myself right now. But the fact is, we have that rare moment right now where we don't have someone filling that void. But we have super talent across the board. Like you said earlier, we have Quincy Hall that's there. Michael Norman, hopefully will be able to come back as well. The new guy up and coming.
Don't say that name around me.
Which one? What name is that?
Someone who has Michael Norman. Talk about potential, who never lives up to it. And this is why I realized coming on the show, I can't make friends with these athletes because I'm going to be less intrigued to actually speak the truth. That guy has all the talent in the world. He can be dominant 100, the 200, 400, extremely gifted. But when it comes to the big stage, he never performs. And it's so disappointing because he could have been that guy. And I don't want to say we didn't have that guy this year. I believe that Quincy Hall could have been that guy with his just grit, determination. Like, he refuses to lose. That's somebody who I would trust on the fourth leg of that 4x4 to not get caught or to catch anybody that's out there. Unfortunately, our guy of our generation got hurt.
I heard his point on Michael Norman. Well, let's not forget, Michael Norman was a world champion before that. So, yes, in that moment, he was a world champion. So he didn't, in the biggest moments, he proved himself that one time. But I've heard through the grapevine that he's been dealing with a few injuries, which is not an excuse because a lot of people deal with injuries. But remember, he was the 400-meter world champion. I think
I want to say 2019. 2019, he became the world champion in the 400, right? In Doha. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that the fact of a lot of these athletes, and to be able to be in that top dog spot, especially for the men's 400 that carries so much tradition, it makes that spot to be tough, and it's full of pressure because you're that guy. You're in a line that has come down the line of, you had Michael Johnson to Jeremy Warner's, the LaShawn Merritt. So knowing that you're up and being that top dog, you have to fill that void. Those are some big shoes to be able to fill. And you look at the fact of where Michael Norman's been and with the championship that he did win, also the backstory of his mom being from Japan, and then, the Olympics was in Japan at that point in time. It may have been a lot of pressure mixed with some knick-knack injuries there too, but that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself to realize, like, I not only do I have to climb to that spot, but now I have to maintain that spot. And that's something that a lot of athletes don't recognize and don't understand until they get to that spot.
Mm-hmm. And it's more so, it's like, I'm a huge Michael Norman fan, and like I always bet like this is the year. And like, to your point, there's another aspect that, yes, the injuries may have been there, but I also think there is some type of what I call like mental injury, like to be able to, and I don't want to really speak to ahead of, because I'm gonna get to this later in another one of the points, but to be able to be dominant, you have to be strong physically, but as well as mentally. I can be that guy. I can do this. I know there's other guys coming up, but they're not me. And I think that's an area where he lacks the most, of having that mental fortitude, because he has all the physical, intangible gifts to be able to do it. It's just sometimes maybe the injuries may be it, but I think potentially that mental doubt could be creeping in there as well.
Great point, T. Wolf, man. I think a lot of people overlook the fact of the tradition that was not fulfilled this season with Team USA not being in the men's 400, because we also were looking at the rising stars like from Botswana or South Africa who are on the rise, and we were excited to be entertained by them as well, man. Great points, bro. Rob, what you got, man? Topic again. Biggest upset of the season 2025. What you got?
But first one would have been, the upset for me was if you told me Taboho would leave the World Championships without an individual medal, I would have told you was crazy. That's upset for me. And my next upset, I had two. If you told me that Noah Lyles wouldn't have one of the top 10 times in 100 this year, that's another one for me. Noah Lyles is not in one of the top 10 hundreds this year.
Yeah, those are two big stats I think that have been overlooked for sure. I mean, the fact of, we know that Taboho had a rising season, especially during the Prefontaine, where he ran 19.7. And we was like, all right, Taboho's on the move. He's on the rise. Yeah. And I think that void between, obviously Prefontaine leading up to the World Championships, he kind of mellowed out a little bit, and we didn't see much of him. He ran maybe a couple of races, and he didn't look as strong coming off the turn. Look, he had to do a little more work in that 200 to be able to maintain, especially when he raced against Noah later on. But yeah, to not be able to come away with any individual medal at the World Championships for a true talent like Taboho, who has been winning medals since he was a junior athlete, I see that point, and we all have our down seasons or our slumps.
Yeah.
But also, I think that he's able to bounce back because of what he accomplished with his team in the 4x4 as well. So I look at it as not so much a failure. Maybe it's an L for a Taboho, right, as an individual athlete, but it's a big W for Team Botswana with the help of him and those other guys who would be able to bring home a gold medal in that grand fashion. So it kind of mends that wound a little bit that he didn't have his individual either in the 100 or in the 200. But yeah, we're used to seeing Taboho going out there and have true talent, true depth, and be able to say, okay, I can run the 100, the 200, and I can do in the 4x4. So hopefully he'll be able to bounce back and bring that individual Taboho back to the plate. Noah, man, what you got to say, T?
I was just talking about for Tabo. I wasn't surprised about the 100. I think that his only chance of getting a medal, an individual medal, was in that 200, just because how the 100 was set up this year. But to your point, I was a little surprised by that. I thought that he did have a chance. Now, can you correct me if I'm wrong? But didn't he get hurt early in the year?
He did. Him and Noah,
Yeah,
both of them were hurt.
yeah. So I'm wondering if that limited his ability to get the normal amount of races that he would usually get throughout the year, because he didn't necessarily look the same after he ran that 19.7 to where he ran that earlier on. After that, he didn't look the same when he went against Noah the second time and Noah beat him. So I think that potentially may be due to just not having a healthy version of him, but also I think that he's more of a 2-4 guy, and maybe he's not going to that 400 because he has his fellow countrymen who are winning it, and they have potentially could go 1, 2, 3, 4. So he may be, I'm giving y'all a chance to get this medal. And if I can get a medal in the 100, so I'll try. But I don't think he is in shape as of right now, as of what I've seen so far, to ever really get a medal in that 100 due to the competition that's out there. I think it's finally getting back to a level to where it was back in your era, Justin, when people were constantly running sub 9.8s. It's been a little dry in these past couple years. Like for us to have that 9.79 in the Olympics and now 9.7 with World Championships, we're trending to get kind of back to that. The world is getting faster again in that dry spot that we had. So I'm excited to see what he does in the next couple of years. But yeah, I'll let you take it away going into Noah.
No, man, I was gonna talk about the chat too. Hey, chat, we appreciate y'all being in the building, man, for sure. Shouts out to South Africa. We in the building. I see y'all, man. Also, D-Light 664 just said that Taboho sort of kind of foreshadowed his season in a documentary. I haven't seen it yet. If you can put in the chat with the documentary where we can find it or the name of it, that'd be cool. He went on to say that he's really kind of set his eyes to go all out in 2028. Meaning Taboho.
Okay.
But for me, that raises even more questions. So what are we doing in the meantime, right? So is it like you're help building your country, you help building your team up, and then you're going to go all out in 2028, or you're going to look to do, something through 2027, which is another world championships as well. So, but man, I wish we came from an era where you can just say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to chill for the next 2 years, man, and see what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? But
He's focusing on saving lives out there.
I ain't got my face on no money either, though.
You gotta realize what he is to his country. So he may be somebody who's trying to build some type of infrastructure with his influence being from that country. So, but to your point, T Wolf, remember he was a silver medalist before. He ran 9.8, 9.86. So
Yeah.
that's pretty competitive, even in the Justin Gatlin era. 9.86. It wouldn't get you a medal, but it was
And
competitive.
that's what we talk about. The topic of discussion is the medals. So it's like, 986 competitive, but in Gatlin area, boat era, that you maybe top 5.
Yeah. My last point on Taboho before we move on to Noah is the fact of we still have to remind ourselves that Taboho is still young. He's still a young guy in the game. You know what I mean? Like you look at him and he's a small frame guy, but I think once he goes down that path that Noah did, when Noah came in the game, he was a small frame guy as well. But when Noah realized that I need to be faster, stronger, more consistent, he got bigger shoulder caps, bigger traps, bigger chest, and he was able to motor and use his arms to get bigger, faster, and stronger, right? And that gave him better performance consistently. I think we haven't seen that from Teboho yet. So once Teboho kind of evolves into that more of, let's say, grown man, you know what I mean, competition level of where his body develops and catches up to his talent, I think that's when we're going to see that kind of guy, right? And he may stay the size he is and may end up being, like a super talent like a Kim Collins who doesn't have big muscles, but able to go out there and perform at a high level and still be able to be one of those guys in the mix. But I would love to see him be able to develop, a bigger upper body, and that'll show that 19.5s and 19.4s, the things that we know Teboho can do in those 9.8s and hopefully 9.7s as well. Because I love his style, the way he runs. It actually mimics his whole swagger, his whole energy. It's like, it's almost effortless, but it has the right type of technique for his style, But hey, let's move on to Noah. Yeah, man. We started the season off with realizing that Noah took 3 months off in the middle of the season where we didn't see Noah. He ran a 400 at Tom Jones, or was it at Tom Jones or was it at?
It was Tom Jones.
All right. Tom Jones in Gainesville, Florida. He ran a 445.8, I believe. Right.
Yep.
And then after that, he vanished. We didn't see Noah for a very, very long time in the season. And then he reappeared, right? And there was whispers of him being injured and whatever like that. But then even when him coming back, even if it was injury, Rod, you made a good point, which is maybe this is going to offset his season to where now he's not going to be taxed or as tired as other athletes going into the World Championships. So it might have played more into his favor. But now how it looked, because he did have so much time off, he wasn't as race sharp or race ready as we know he could be, especially for the 100 meters. And that's the interesting thing when you talk about someone like a Noah is he's remarkable in the 200, right? So he can go out there and run a 19.5 in the semis, but still not able to run a superior fast time in the 100 meters, to be able to get him on the podium at the point of the podium that he would be normally looked at, which is gold, right? And contending for that gold. And the time that was won by Oblique, we know Noah can run that time. So I think that his sharpness wasn't there for 100 meters, and it showed throughout his performances through the season. And I think for him, he gutted it out. Every time he jumped in 100, he was out there just gutting it out. Even some of those 200s, you could tell like he didn't have that last ending gear that he usually has. He was going toe-to-toe, stride for stride with his opponents, and he just willed his way across the finish line before them. So, but for him not to have a top 10 time in the 100 meters and be the guy that we look to have the big dog, you know what I mean? Or one of the big dogs of our sport right now, that is that's very mind blowing for me. You usually do not see that at all. Usually you don't see that at all. So that's a crazy anomaly for sure. And still for him to go out there and still get a world championship medal. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So let's go on. Let's move on to the next one then, man. The next one is I told you. Right? So I told you basically is what happened this season that you called and then it kind of panned out and it played in your favor. Rod?
I'm going to go first.
Go ahead, Rod. Hit it.
I knew Mondo was going to break the world record. I knew Mondo was going to break the world record. I knew that was going to happen. But another thing that I knew was going to happen that I warned everybody about, I said Botswana was going to beat the USA in the 4x4. I said they were coming. Remember, I said it in Paris. I said it at the World Relays. I said, hey, USA better watch out for these boys. These boys coming. They're coming and they're going to be relentless. Roll into 2025. They came and they got gold. I called that. I called that exactly as it was coming. Gave a preview. They didn't listen. Those boys was ready. Those are my two I told you so's.
You did. and your I told you so actually extended from last year coming into this year. You saw it coming from a mile away. You was like, hey, hold on now. Y'all better be ready for these boys. They on the rise right now. They just need one more guy. And as soon as you said they need one more guy, it was like some guy in the crowd was like, me, I am that one more guy. and they stepped up and handled
I
business,
understand.
Doug. So
Hey,
I got to give
hey,
it to him. Your "I told you so" was a true "I told you so."
you know this Justin said me in an accent. Me, it is me.
I had to, I
Give
had to
me
make it a little
three.
more authentic.
So
Troy,
I have a
what was
quick
your "I
question
told
to
you
that.
so," man?
Before we get to that, I have a quick question to that. Do you think your "I told you so" would have been valid and come to fruition if Quincy didn't get hurt?
We talking
Man,
about what if. We talking about what ifs and actuals. Of course, if they had Quincy, it would have been a lot tougher because Taboho wasn't the Taboho the year before.
He
So
wasn't. Yeah. Hmm.
we could insert that same thing with the bow. We could say, what if they had Taboho of last year with this team?
True. True. True.
listen,
I feel that.
That
to,
Quincy wouldn't have mattered if they had Taboho of last year with this team.
so Track Talk News says 4x4 Botswana win. That was his "I told you so," or their "I told you so." But this is what I'm going to say. If you go back and look at that last 50 meters of that home stretch for that 4x4, men's 4x4, I'm telling you right now, Botswana needs to go ahead and send a care package to South Africa, Nene, right? And I say that because Botswana actually did not move until South Africa moved for the position, tried to take over Rai Benjamin. And then that's when Botswana was like, wait a minute, we ain't trying to get no bronze. And then they realized, like, oh, we can get gold. All right, let's get it then. So I think, to be honest, right there, that was a deciding factor, right? Now, you
Hmm.
throw in someone like a Quincy Hall, yeah, it's going to be a tougher challenge for a Botswana team to go out there and go toe to toe with a very elite, well put together 4x4 men's team, right? Team USA.
Hmm.
But we playing in the reality of what really happened. And
Yeah.
the deciding factor actually for me was that last 50 meters when Botswana realized, I don't want bronze. I'm cool with silver. Wait a minute. Before I finish that sentence, we actually can get gold. And that's when they crossed the line and won that. So shouts out to them, man. Split second decisions making at that last moment, last meter, got them the gold that they were out there trying to get, man. So I told you so. That was a good "I told you so" ride for sure.
I give you that. That was a good one. That was a good one. Now going on to my "I told you so." I actually made a video talking about this, and I can send the link later. Matthew Hudson, he's a phenomenal 400-meter runner. He out of Great Britain doing his thing. Last year, Quincy Hall barely beat him, and he actually went 43-4. But when you look at his form, you see there's a lot of drop off, and specifically in those hips. He has a huge hip tilt to where when he crossed the finish line, his hips are still back at the 50-meter mark. And when you have bad form like that in a 400-meter runner, it's something that you can get away with for some point, but it's gonna catch up to you. Now, because he has that bad hip tip, for him to still be able to go that fast, this is a guy who has crazy potential. If he can potentially work on that, it can be a huge improvement to his race. But at some point, I didn't know when it was going to happen. I didn't specifically call it for this year, but I said he's going to start slowing down. His fastest time this year was a 44-1, and that's him going all out. He didn't make the finals at the World Championships. So we're talking about coming in second place at Olympic, then the very next year don't make the finals. That's one thing that I did call it early on. I didn't necessarily know it was going to be this year and that how it was going to happen this soon, but that's something if he doesn't work on, it's going to continue to get worse.
Wow, I didn't even think about his technique as being problematic. Obviously him having a great season last year, the times he's
Hmm.
ran, consistency that he's built from that. Obviously, having that eye that maybe is a ticking time bomb for him, maybe something that he does need to change, right? Sometimes you have athletes who runs very fast and are very super talented like him, and who's at a
Hmm.
larger stature than usually most of his opponents. They can get away with certain flaws in their technique. Usain used to do it all the time. You saw a lot of rocking motion side to side from Usain because he knew that it didn't have to be it had to be linear. Long as I'm able to power off and power being better than my opponents that I'm running against, and I
Hmm.
mentally have them already, then why do I need to change anything? And maybe that's something that Matt's going to work on, over the season. For me, I think for Matt, why we didn't see the Matt that we needed to see is because, congratulations, Matt. We know that you are a new father of a child that you have, man. And it came during the season, which is
Yeah,
sometimes the most stressful time to be able to have a baby, right? So,
true.
and having that and, sleepless nights, you may not be the mama, but you still waking up. You still waking up
Oh
every
no,
2
you were
hours or
part of
getting
that.
woke up every 2 hours. Exactly. And then the fact of it's hard for you to detach from your family when that special moment has come and that package has come, which is your child, to be able to go sleep in a whole nother, hotel in a room by yourself or with a teammate, knowing that your family's over here. It's hard to separate that business from family matters, right? I think it was just a tough season, a tough go for him right now because he had so
Yeah.
many other things on his mind and on his heart. But I believe that he's that kind of guy who's going to pan it out. So if it is an issue when it comes to his hips or his tilt, and I have seen that from him, he's more of a straight down ground striker instead of having like knee lift. Hopefully that's something that he can work on and change. I know Gary is his coach, and Gary sees those kind of things and work on those kind of things and bring those athletes back to the top to where they are at. So yeah. So Matt, man, shouts out to you. Congratulations. I hope you bounce back, bro, because we love seeing you in them finals, bro. That was a good I told you so, man. I didn't even see that one coming when it comes to the technical aspect of it.
Yep.
Rodney, your take on it? You good on that one?
Nah, I'm good on that.
Okay. All right. Hit the chat real quick before we hit to the next topic. Devin Maddox back in the building. Devin, shout out to Devin, man. He's one of our regulars, bro. Shouts out to you, bro. We and actually everybody who's a regular on here, man, we're gonna do something going into the next season. Gonna get y'all personal information, and we're gonna be able to kind of send y'all guys some care packages or some shirts and hats, man, at some point in time because you guys have shown us so much love, man. Shouts out to you, Devin. So Devin's was I told you so. Jamaica men 4x1 relay was going to have issues with their exchange in the baton, and they weren't going to medal. That was a big one. That was a big I
That would have
told
been
you
a
so,
big
bro.
one.
That was a big I told you so for sure. I don't think anybody really saw that coming as a whole. You know what I mean? Because of the tradition of how safe and easy passes have been for Jamaica back, from 10 years on up till now. But the fact they do have a new core of young sprinters, and maybe they don't have that same synergy that, the Nestor Carters, the Michael Freighters, the Asafas and Johans and Bolt had together to be able to say, let's make this happen. But also the fact of, I think the old guard had a point to prove. They were trying to kick Team USA's ass up and down
Yeah.
the track. So they realized like we got to get our shit together so we can go out there and beat them so we can be the best in the world. And maybe that same ideology that Team Jamaica now needs to be able to adopt to be able to bring that synergy back together. Because right now I think it's more of it's fractured, because now you have, instead of having one top dog in Jamaica, now you have it shared by an Oblique and a Keyshane. So it's like, do they work together, and how do they work together well, or do they see each other just as opponents? And I'm gonna show up on relay day to practice on relays, because those two guys are leaders, and if they want to be able to come together and be able to keep that tradition going that the old guard did, they have to say, hey guys, especially to the other two, they got to be like, hey, let's get this together. If we can be able to get together and do this thing, me and Keyshane and Oblique, then let's get the rest of you guys together and let's build a powerhouse that can be unstoppable. It's conversation. So that was a good one, Dev. That was a good one, man, for sure.
One second.
And one thing to that, sorry, you can go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your point, and then I'll go after you.
Okay. I was just saying, I never saw that coming. What I potentially thought was going to happen at Worlds was individuals were going to get exposed. Because Shane, if he was going to be fourth leg, he does a lot of his work in that 100, the first 60 meters. He's a great accelerator, and he gets to top end speed fast. But historically, when I've seen him on that 4x1, he doesn't have that godly presence. He doesn't get the stick and walk away from people. So it's like I was expecting to see Maya told you so if I were to bring up Jamaica 4x1, would potentially seeing Kashane getting caught to potentially lose a number one position or lose him not getting a medal. I never would have thought it'd been a actual like baton or handoff issue, but that would have been my view take on that.
Yeah, I think we see that. We see that for Keyshane's running style. That first of all, he's an amazing athlete. To be able to run the times he runs, the power output that he has, to be able to run 9.7s each year. If you think about it, last year, this year, he stepped up to plate and done that. But you said also he's in an era where it's hybrid athletes now. You got guys who are very good 200-meter runners, and they drop down to the 100 and become technically sound at the 100. That makes them a formidable opponent. So what happens is towards the end of that second half of those races, it leaves Keyshawn kind of exposed because he doesn't have that top end that they have that they can carry to the finish line. So maybe that's something they're going to work on. And it's critical for, especially for the 4x1, that you need your guy at the end, that fourth leg guy, to have superior top end speed and not kind of like dropping off toward as he gets closer to the finish line. So that's a true issue that needs to be worked on for sure. What you got, Rod?
I definitely agree. Man, I don't know if you guys know, Ready, Set, Go is by Justin and I, and we want to let you guys know, if you want to support us, we have a ROAD. Use our ROAD link to support us, but right now we're going to run that video.
What's up, guys? We are a Row partner. In your relationship, how does your partner tell you that they're ready for sex? Is it a wink? Is it an outfit that they're wearing? You know, when you get that hint, you know it's time to pop a Row Sparks.
Row Sparks is that 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who need that secret weapon. Row Sparks give you the boost to last longer so everyone can have pleasure in bed.
Connect with a provider at row.co/RSG to find out if a prescription Row Sparks is right for you. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off on your first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. That's row.co/RSG for $15 off your first order. Now let's get back to the episode.
Y'all click the
Shouts
link.
out to Row, y'all. Shouts out to Row, y'all. Hey, y'all go grab some Row and break your beds, man. I help pay for it. Y'all go grab some Row.
I just told my girl, go get me some Row.
Hey, listen, make sure she used the RSG link, though. Don't just get the Row. Use the link.
Hey, don't go to the gas station, get no Rhino. You go order right now off that link and get that Row, okay? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hey, so before we move on to the next topic, I want to say Jay Benson said a good one. It was like, told you, I think this is part of the told you so on that Wade Van Niekerk was going to split what was out of this world. Wade dropped. Wade has been progressing back to where we know Wade could be. I don't know if Wade can get back to where he was, which was astronomically amazing. But I feel that, watching Wade, he goes out there, he's fighting for his position. He's giving his love and talent to his teammates, and he looks good in the 200 still. So shouts out to Wade. That was a good one, Pinson, for sure.
That's a great one. I'm so mad I forgot about that one because that's a huge call out. Like, I feel like that wasn't getting as the highlight that it should have. He came out there, and if I'm not mistaken, he had the fastest split out of everybody's 4x4. Is that correct?
Everyone's 4x4. He had the fastest split.
Like,
yes.
Like, we need to give this man a round of applause, and that I was hype about that.
Yeah, we're gonna add a clap track to this one day. Cheers. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, man. Rising stars, people who did an amazing job this season, and you see greatness in their future. T Wolf, you got this one. You're gonna start off, man. What you got?
I'm so excited to talk about this one because I actually talk to his dad on a regular basis, Maurice Gleaton. Now, yes, we've had high schoolers run great times. You had Tate.
Hold on. Tell them who Maurice Gleaton dad is, man. A lot of people don't know who Maurice Gleaton dad is.
I'll let you speak to it. You got more insight than me.
You don't from D4L?
D4L.
Oh, you know what's crazy? I've talked to him many times, but he never even mentioned that. Like, I just knew he was like somebody right.
He ain't gonna mention it, bro. He humble like that. He ain't gonna mention it.
You just put me on. I did not know that. That's why he's always doing them videos like that. Oh, break it
down, Ron. Who is he? Who is he for the chat to know?
From D4L, man. That's his dad. I can't remember his name now. The chat gonna tell me his name though, but they know who that boy daddy is in the music industry. Was big in the music industry from the ATL. So
D4L was really big, especially in the 2000s. Everybody. So if y'all in the chat, y'all 90s babies, early 2000s babies, y'all know D4L. They was on the scene. They was all on the radio and everything. They had music videos. They had their own dance and everything, right? So, hey, that greatness, obviously, he didn't use from rap, went into track for Maurice Gleaton. So, go ahead real quick.
So the thing, as I was saying, you have high schoolers who run these great times, against other high schoolers. But when they get against the pros, it's that's what we were talking about earlier. There's a huge mental aspect. It's like, I know my times are good, but dang, this Christian Coleman next to me. You grow up watching these dudes all the time, and to be able to line up to them, it can be scary. And you can take a 9-9 guy and turn them to a 10-3 real quick. And that's one thing that really impressed me about Maurice when he was able to come on the big scene in the USA trials, not only make it to semis, but make it to the finals and come in the top 6, like, and running his fastest time against the pros. Like, that's not spoken on enough. This dude has great mental fortitude, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the next couple of years, because I know a lot of other high school athletes in the past that came on that same big stage and crumbled, because it's not easy.
I see a lot of similarities when I met him and his coach, the dynamic of having a pro style coach and adaptation. It reminds me a lot of Dennis Mitchell and Jeff Demps. They
Mm.
that's that Jeff wasn't scared of the pros back then. Jeff Demps ran at pre when he was in high school, and he ran at the Olympic trials against Tyson Gay,
He
tying the
did.
junior world record at that time with 10:01. When I saw him and his coach is what's the long jumper name? I'm bad at names, y'all. Y'all know this.
Dwight.
Dwight Phillips, his
Yep.
pro style coach, being like one of the best in the world at jumps and a very competitive sprinter. It reminded me of those type of vibes. When I seen him, he was not scared of those guys. He was poised, he was ready and ready to go, no matter what setting you put him in. And that gave me the reminder of each other.
It's I think to touch on the fact of when you look at someone like a Maurice Gleason or any of those young talents that rose to the occasion this season, it was usually in the past those young guys are talented, but then they're timid when they go up against real talent, right? Those veterans that have held titles, Olympic titles, world championships, ran super superior fast times. But for whatever this reason, this season, like a Maurice Gleason, they did not care about that kind of stuff. They said, "This is my path, this is my time, and if you step on the line, I'm gonna race you like a grown man gonna race you." So, shouts out to him, man. Definitely a rising star to watch, and he's going to make a big splash coming in the next couple of years for sure. I mean, when you look at someone like Dwight, and I love watching athletes get coached by great athletes who have made history, right? Like a Dwight Phillips. Like he's done amazing in the long jumps, but he also was a good sprinter that a lot of people didn't realize. But the fact of he's able to walk Maurice down the path of, if you want to be great, if you want to be a winner, if you want to turn pro, these are the steps that are necessary. These are the races that you must win. These are the times that you must run to get it done. It's not just like a stopwatch, whistle. All right, man, you're in shape. Good luck. Go out there and handle business. It's a orchestrated dance that you must be able to do precisely to become a top dog, an elite athlete, and a professional athlete in our sport. And Maurice is walking down that path with his team. So congratulations to him on that one, man. The great rising star pick right there, man. T. Great rising star. What you got, Rod? Who you got coming up? You know you always have a rising star, man. Who you got, man? I can't even pick who you gonna pick. You got two.
One came to fruition. Great start. Finally made the podium. I have Great Stark. She's coming, and she gonna keep coming. And to everybody, I've never met Grace Stark. Never met her once. I always just watch her from afar and just know she has what it takes. 2, Brian Lavelle from Jamaica. That boy's coming.
That's a good one.
If they don't know he coming, that boy gonna destroy this whole track game, boy. That boy coming. That boy coming.
That's a
I think that's probably the biggest one, and he put me on notice in the trials, and I honestly think he looked better in the semifinals and in the prelims of that 200 than he did in the finals. Like when he comes off that curve, it's like he's just jogging in the park. Like it's this effortlessly, even more so effortlessly than Boho. Like this guy is something special. Me and my dad, we talked about track. He ran track as well. We had a whole conversation. I was like, who is this guy? Where has he been? And I can't wait to see what he does next, because he is him.
Yeah, Brian Lavelle really kind of definitely jumped onto the radar in my book for sure. Like at first, you could always get one athlete that run a fast time. He'll run a 9.8 or 19. He'll run like a low 9.9, maybe not high 9.8 or 19.8 or something like that. And you're like, okay, cool. He had a good day. That was a good day for him. He probably will not be able to replicate that again. But this dude, Brian Lavelle, man, he replicated and replicated again. And then he said, you know what? I'll replicate it one more time. Let me jump into this 100 and drop a 9.8 on y'all heads real quick too, and have one of the fastest times of the season. And then went back into the 200 as well. And he looked like he was going to win the 200 and be the upset at the World Championship. So that is a good rising star pick. He is on the rise. And usually in our sport, not saying that he's better than another one or another one's less than him, but you always remember in our sport, we always kind of look this way at some athletes, and then that athlete that we never see coming is that one that rises to the occasion and becomes the cream of the crop. So someone like Brian Lavelle has those kind of markers that shows that he is a true dominant athlete, and he can be able to be a threat in the 200, but also a threat in the 100 for the times that he can run. He's over there coached by Shelly Ann. Shouts out the great Shelly Ann, who just retired, coached by Shelly Ann's coach, I believe. So when you watch him run, how you talk about he looks so effortless coming off the turn, it reminds me a lot of actually Shelly Ann's running style. Even though their size difference is so far apart, it's a fact of when you watch Shelly Ann run, she almost has like it's almost like an effortless arm carry, one, and then two, her knee lift is very minimal. Like she gets it up to the point where she doesn't have to get up anymore and she strikes down underneath her. If you watch how he runs off the turn, he runs just that same way. Like minimal knee lift off the turn, and he strikes down right underneath him, and his arm carry is not as aggressive. It's just really relaxed, and he's just right here, right? So maybe that's a hallmark of the coach. So shout out to Coach over there, man. He put together a really good male athlete to be able to take on the what Shelly Ann has be able to drop off for us. So shouts out to them, man. They did a good job. Shouts out. That was a good one, man. Grace Starks, you called that a long time ago. So Grace going out there and not having the best season to start with. And I knew she was frustrated. I watched her at Tom Jones become very frustrated in her race, and then be able to bounce back, have a good season, stay poised like a veteran would, and be able to navigate through prelim, semis, and finals to get on the podium. Man, that shows that she's not scared of high competition, high pressure competition. And she can't be, especially in the event that she's in. The women's short hurdles, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there every time the gun goes off. So shouts out to her for getting the medal too. Another rising star on the move. So everyone, y'all check her out, man. Y'all check her out. So Pinson wrote in the chat that Wade dropped 43.26. That was his fastest split. So that was the fast split out of everybody, man. So that's deep. That's deep down there, man. So, but yeah, Regina, we're going to talk about Athlos and the women athletes out there in a little bit on one of these other topics. So I'll make sure I'll bring that up for you. I think that's your kin right there, T. That's your kin, Regina. Let's move on to the next topic. Big dog on the yard. Which athlete stepped up to the plate and handled business at the moment it was necessary? Who was a big dog on the yard for you? I think T, is your turn to go first, right?
Yep. And no, actually, I think I went last time, but I feel like we have to have the same one. But I'll let you go, Rob.
Oh no, I don't think we have the same one.
Oh, okay.
I feel like she do this on purpose. My big dog on the campus is Tara Woodall. I don't know if she's so dramatic. She always waits till the last jump to really pull it off and pull this goal out. Now being the Olympic gold medalist, the world medalist, topping the year off with Athlos in the world lead. This girl is a natural born star and the big dog of our event and one of the big dogs in track and field right now. So that's my big dog on the yard. I know that's not yours. No, that's not yours.
I like it. I respect it. And I agree. Like that. That's a great one. I can't deny that. Mine's coming from the men's 100. This is an individual who we have all seen his talent all year. In these past couple years, we just been waiting for that moment, waiting for him to put it together on the big stage. And this world championship, he finally did. Oh, this was a special one. Having Oblique be able to come up and really show the world what he can do. Now, we known that, and he has shown that he can beat Noah, and he has done it numerous instances. But the one big bad behemoth, the David versus Goliath, was Kashane. Can he finally put that race together against the Kashane? And he did at the world stage, and the time showed, and I was just so happy for him because we all knew he could do it. It was just a matter of putting it together and not having any injuries to prevent it from happening.
Those are
Look,
some good points.
I don't know what's wrong with my bets. When I bet on that guy, listen, I bet on him in 22, 23, 24. The year I don't bet on him, he want to come through. But I get it, man. Oblique, I get it. I see you. You shut me up because I ain't pick you. I was like, nah, I ain't picking him this year, man. This dude just, you know what I mean? But to your fact, he had a mental coach. That was a big part of his success this year. He gave a shout out to his mental coach. He got that together. That was the one piece that was missing that got him together. So I was happy for him also.
And even to that, like I think his mental coach helped, but also the physical coach. If you go back early in the year, Oblique was running 400s, y'all. 400s. And I think that really helped with the later part of his race to be able to sustain that. He always had a great start, and he never really showed like faltering towards the end, but he had great speed, stamina, and speed endurance to that last 30 meters. Like he had to go and get Kashane because Kashane was kind of out there, and he did. And I think that it's a great job of not making the same mistakes, going to near, trying new things. We saw the same thing from Jillian Alpha's coach. In the indoors, she didn't run the 60. She was running 300s. She ran some 400s. Being able to switch things up to try to strengthen the weakness part of the race, and it showed. So I was just so excited to see the benefit of the hard work physically and mentally, reaping the benefits and coming to fruition.
Absolutely. Those are some good big dog points. Definitely have to mention that I always feel that Tara is an entertainer first who is athletic because she's always on point. It ain't like she's like, oh, she's just hyped today. And then, you see her on the runway quiet as a mouse, but still jumping and being, successful. Every time she steps onto that runway, she is being entertaining. Hell, when she's not on the runway and we see videos of her, doing whatever she's doing, she's always entertaining. So I feel like she's an entertainer who just so happens to be able to jump far, She has definitely commanded, attention, especially in an event that is overshadowed by sprints, distance, so for her to go out there and make a splash like she does, you could tell it's very calculated as well. Like you said, for her to go out there and every time she jumps, that last jump is that jump that she gets it done. And she's done it for 2 years straight now. She's done it from the Olympics to the World Championships, to nationals, to Athlos. She's got it done that way. And maybe that's her calling card. She reminds me a lot of a Brittany Reese. Brittany Reese kind of used to do that as well. Once Brittany Reese knew that she had it in the bag, either she'll go out there and warm herself up through those jumps and just jump that last big one, boom, get it out of there. Or Brittany was like, I'm not playing with y'all girls, and go out and jump the big one, the first one, knowing that no one's going to touch it, and go just sit down and kind of take a little power nap and everything like that. So when you watching someone like Tara Woodhull, like, hey, listen, bro, it was so disrespectful watching Brittany go out there and just be like, you know what? I got one. Yep. Wind's right. All right, let me jump this one right now because I'm going to go ahead and just take this little nap, eat me a little snack, and I'll see y'all in the finals. So, but that's what you're seeing from Tara. Like, it's already kind of playing out to the fact that she knows that what her talent level is and how far she can jump and when she needs to jump that length at the right time. So shouts out to her for being a big dog. She definitely has built consistency in her event, and she has definitely stepped up to the plate to be a face of our sport. Definitely, man. Oblique. Hey, man, he finally stepped up to play. What I love about Oblique and his big dog moment is the fact of we all knew he could. It was just a matter of when was he going to realize that he could. And watching him kind of falter through, I think it was the prelims where he had the worst start, where he got left in the blocks and had to run everybody down. And then the semis was okay. He kind of found his ground and footing. But then that finals, he handled business. I don't know if it was the fact of Rod didn't bet on him and he felt some type of way, or if Noah had some words to say and he heard what Noah said. But whatever it was, whatever woke him up, listen, you need to take a cup of that every day when you wake up, Oblique. Take a cup of that to keep you woke, because that was true dominant sports, top dog, 100-meter running that you did out there, bro. Like, you went out there, you knew the competition you was racing against, you knew where your strengths lied, and you knew that if I keep my path, my technique, my race strategy, I'm gonna go out here and win this. And when he came across that line, it wasn't even a shocker to him. He came across the line like, I got this. I know I got this. And I think for me, I realized that he could get it. He really could get it done when he ran that 9.8 in that pouring rain, I think in Lausanne or something like that. When he did that, I was like, yeah, bro, like, go ahead and stop playing with yourself, dog. Like, really get up to that starting line and really know that you that guy who can win this gold medal. So watching him do that, shouts out to him, man. Big dog. We're looking to be able to talk to him on the show too very, very soon and be able to get his take on how the season panned out, and also that race, leading up to that race from the prelims, semis, and finals. So from his perspective, man, that'll be a great one to have. So
I think the pressure for Oblique is just going to start. So he's going to need his mental coach more than ever now. Like you said, we all knew he was capable of something like this. But now that he's at the top, the real pressure starts when you got to stay there, because the expectation of winning is pressure. And Justin, you could speak to that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, once you get to a certain point, and I was speaking about it earlier, when you look at those 400-meter USA guys trying to fill that void or step into those shoes, it's a unique kind of pressure. It's not that same pressure of someone trying to even make a team or trying to get on a podium. It's the fact of that they know they belong there, and they know that the world knows that they belong there. And it's the point of being there and staying there. That's the hard one, because now the world looks at you almost like as a robot. They expect for you to be on point every time. They expect for you to run a fast time every time. They expect for you to be dominant every time. So that's a tough thing to do. But you know who makes that easy? Who also is very much an honorable mention in this big dog, and she's going to be my big dog, and Donovan Maddox already talked about it, is Sydney. Sydney right there, handle business. That she is big dog. That's big dog energy right there. For her to go blindly and not just say, I'm going to tiptoe into the 400, for her to go from the 400 hurdles and say, I'm going to change over to the 400, where there already were two Titans that were handling business and already gapping the field that they were already racing against. And she stepped into that world and said, I'm going to go out here in a world championship year, not an off year, a world championship year, and go out here and try to make the world team and win a world medal and win a gold medal at that. Because we already know how she rolls. Ain't nothing. You got to get the gold. Like, it has to come with a world record it got to come with some kind of record too. So for her to go out there, break the American record very easily in the semis, just to come back, and that's the fastest time she's ever ran before in her life, just to double back around to run even faster in the finals was crazy. And then her to go out there and dominate against those Titans that are already in that race and in that field, and respect to them as well, because I think it leveled them up. They realize that now we have to run 47s. 48.0, 48.1's not going to get the job done. Me, meaning Paulino and Nasser, shoulder to shoulder, stride for stride, running to the finish line, it's not going to get the job done anymore. Now we have a dark horse who is coming into our event that's really going to wreak havoc, and we got to level up to that. So I think she's pushed the envelope. She's pushed the talent to where the women's 400 is going to go into a realm that we haven't seen in a very, very, very long time. And that's what Sydney does, man. That's big dog energy, man. Look what she did with the 400 hurdles. Now she's going to go into the women's 400 flat and do something similar. And she has already started it. So big dog for sure. Sydney got it done in there for me. That's my big dog.
That's a great big dog, and I hope she stays there for a couple years because I do believe that Paulino and Nasser will go up there and meet her. I mean, Paulino already is there from a sub 48, but I think Nasser's right there as well, and I'm so excited to see that one of them three, or maybe all three of them, will be breaking that world record in the next Olympics. I can guarantee you that.
For sure. For sure. I know that this other person, the chat is already throwing some of their big dogs out there. And obviously, you got to put out there Melissa Jefferson had an amazing year. I know T and Rod, you probably have Melissa somewhere on your list coming up in the next couple of topics. But, she handled business this year, an undefeated season and coming with 3 gold medals. If that's not big dog, I don't know what big dog is. So
She
for her to
lost
go
one.
out there.
She lost one race.
In what? In the 200?
Oh, the two, right?
Yes.
In the
200
Yeah.
to Gabby. She lost one.
Yep.
Okay, I'll take that. It's okay. I'll take that. I'll take that. That was more of like a tester. Let me see where I'm at. Oh, I really can do this. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Peace. Y'all never gonna see me again. That's what kind of
You
run
saw
that
the
was.
second time they raced.
Exactly. Right. So, but shouts out to Melissa, man. She has done an amazing thing, and she has that mental fortitude, and she's just so humble that that's the kind of person you want to see rise to the occasion again. Same thing with Julian Alfred. You want to see them battling again next year, and it not be pressure, but it be straight up entertainment for sure. So let's move on to the next one, man. Let's move on to the next one. We go from big dogs to best bet, right? Which athlete or performance you knew was going to happen and what made it entertaining and impressive. So you kind of already touched on one earlier, Rod, which was Mondo breaking the world record. That was mine, which was, Mondo gonna break the world record. Come on, man, y'all stop tripping. Like anytime Mondo steps up, he's like, look, man, y'all know what I'm here to do. I'm here to grab a gold medal, break a world record, give me 100K in the bank again, and have fun doing it at the same time. But I think for this one, for me, this world record was special because watching him, he was truly trying to attempt to break the world record. A lot of the other world records that he has broken before, I felt that came a little easier for him. They were kind of planned out. But now he was pushed by the athlete from Greece, I believe, right? And it pushed him, I think, to a different level to where now, like, he's on my tail. I think Mondo was like, yo, this dude's really jumping, bro. Like, he's on my tail. I got to be able to push it to a new level. And I think that's what Mondo had to do. You saw him a couple of times. He had to sit down, kind of compose himself, rest himself, and really attempt to go after this world record. And him breaking that world record and him coming down from the heavens, because that's how high he jumps, down from the heavens onto the mat, the joy, the elation, like, it was pure. It was real. It was like, I did that, dog. Like, I did that. Like, jumping into the stands. It wasn't like I'm landing on the mat, clapping my hands. Oh, man, I did it. Congratulations. I knew I could. This one right here was a little bit special, I think, for me. So that was going to be my pick of best bet.
I think it was special for him because if you rewind time, that's the same Olympic Stadium in 2021. He won his gold medal there, but nobody was there. So now this time, his parents, everybody was there. Everybody he wanted to be there was there. And he broke the world record in the Olympics. He wanted to do it again in a packed stadium. So I think that's what made it so special for him to come back and be like, look, I want that moment back, but everybody's here with me this time.
Very true.
Yeah.
So who's your best bet?
My best bet is that lady right there on the screen. After she ran Miramar, I knew there was nothing that was going to break this young lady, Melissa Jefferson Wooden.
I'm right there with you. We had the same one after seeing her early. Now, going into the season, I didn't anticipate this. I knew she was going to get better, but I didn't think that she was going to be 10-6, running one of the fastest top 5 times in the world ever. So I didn't predict that. And also, not necessarily just in the 100, in that 200, 21-6, which is the 8th fastest of all time. Like, I didn't see that, but after seeing her early and just her continuously getting faster, continuously being pressure tested and coming out on the positive end of that, this girl's unbeatable. I can't wait to see what she does. If we can potentially get Julian back, I think Julian is the one individual which has been seen prior to the World Championships. When they raced, it was a 1077 and I think a 1075. Julian was right there. Julian can go with her. A Julian that's not hurt will go with her. together. So I'm excited to see what happens next year or next World Championship to see when they
I
compete.
don't know. I don't know.
I,
The reason
ooh,
why I could tell you this, right? Statistically, Melissa Jefferson has had the best average season. The only
mhm,
persons who've averaged a season like hers is Elaine Thompson Hero and Shelly Ann Fraser Price. Her average
mhm.
was very fast the whole year. And she's seen 10-6 more times than probably anybody since Elaine. So for Julian to be there, I think a little bit might have to change for her. Her 200 gets better, but her 100 would definitely have to change a couple of things for her to be right there with Melissa at the time where she at.
And I think it's on that track. If you go back and look towards Julian, even when she beat Shaqiri for the Olympics, she gets out, and then it's like whatever happens, then it stays there. There is no separating. But she has been working on the second half of her race with these taking this 200 more serious, starting the season doing 300s and then even some 400s. She's developing that second half of the race, and maybe this wasn't the year where she could go with Melissa, but I'm going based off what we saw. And what we saw is when Melissa made that move, Julian went with her, and it was them two in a race by themselves. Only thing was, Julian wasn't able to have a fully year without being hurt, so we didn't really get to see what she could do. I anticipating that she would have been able to be near her. I'm not saying beat her. Melissa's on some God mode this year, but I think that it would have been a much closer race if we had a fresh, uninjured Julian to go with her.
I got to step in
Uh,
and say that what you said is untrue, though, at some point.
who,
Julian
me?
also just came out. No, Julian just came out and said that, remember when they said that she was hurt before the World Championships, right?
Hmm.
She came out and debunked that. She said, I don't know why me promoter said that I was injured. So she said
Oh,
she
so
was
that
never
wasn't
injured
true?
before. She said she wasn't injured before the World Championships.
Yeah,
So,
she ran
Yeah.
10-7 right after that. And to the next point, Julian should be working on the first half of a race. Melissa Jefferson is an exceptional starter. She loses
Yeah.
the race to Melissa always at the start. She's a great
Sure.
finisher. She's not
Hmm.
a superior starter. She's an average starter, but her top end speed, somewhat like Miss Richardson, allows them to run down a 10-8, 10-9 runner. But to be a
Yeah.
10-6, you got to be in the front
That's
on
cool.
the front of Melissa or with her, or you won't beat
Yeah.
her.
Hmm.
yeah. That, I mean, the margin between a Melissa and a Julian, especially in this season, was so slim. And how Rod was saying, Melissa's getting out the blocks before Julian or the rest of the field, it may be a half a step. You know what I mean? That distance right there is going to be hard for someone who runs a low 10-7 compared to someone who runs a high 10-6 to a mid 10-6. You're gonna have to use up energy that you usually would use towards the end of the race to even just catch them in the middle of the race. And we've seen that that's where the dogfight is for both of them. Usually at the 50
Yeah.
meter mark, Julian's battling Melissa there, but Melissa
Mhm.
has that extra energy that she didn't use in the beginning because she's just quicker with her feet.
Yeah.
And she's able to use that gear towards the end of the race to be able to separate from a Julian. And that's just something that, we know Flo is a great coach. He's going to probably work on in the season, in the off season to get her ready to have her wheels spinning more. So that's some great battling right there. I love watching these two girls, these two ladies go back at it, back and
Yeah.
forth this season and running consistent times of 10-7 and 10-6. We're taking it into a whole new realm. So I like that as well. We don't got to worry about 10-8s no more, 10-9s. Like they're out there just doing times that we normally we'd be jaw dropping. Now they're pretty much normal for us to see from these two individuals for sure. So those are two best bets for sure. I know Kenneth Woods over there. He has two good best bets: Ryan Krauser and Faith Kipyegon. Those were definitely two best bets. I mean, for Ryan to be able to be obviously multiple gold medal champion for the last half of an eon of his career, I think he came out the womb winning gold medals, man. Because this dude is out there just doing a thing. To learn that his first meet of the season actually was the World Championships was mind-blowing and disrespectful to me at the same time. If I was a guy who was
Wait.
like warming up, going through a whole fall training, going through a preseason, going through a regular season, traveling around the world, throwing in Budapest, throwing in Japan, throwing over in China and Rome and everything like that at these diamond leagues, and then go to a world championships, slapping my face and saying, this is the last one. This is the last big one. Realizing that when you go down to that dining hall, Ryan Krauser walks in and says, yep, I just started my season, y'all. And good luck to y'all. And then go out there and still win the gold medal. Yeah, he started his season off with at the World Championships.
I'm gonna sprinkle. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit more on you. He coached himself.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know that one. Yeah, I didn't know that one. That's insane too. But
you think he sat there in the mirror, looked at himself, and said, "Let's just push our season back. I think you're ready. I think you're ready. We just don't want to burn ourselves out, Ryan. And let's get out there and get it done when it's time to get it done. When is that, Coach? In the finals. That's it. That's our season." So shouts out to him, and obviously Faith is Faith. I mean, obviously what she's done this season and going after that record that she was looking to go after. Shouts out to her. She's done an amazing job this season. The Untouchables. That's what I would call them, the Untouchables for sure. They're doing their thing. Move on to the next topic. Feel good moment of the year. What moment made you proud to be a track and field fan?
I think I'm up on this one. Imagine taking 3 years off and coming back acting like you didn't have any downtime. Donovan is that guy. And we're not just talking about like a couple practices or just a couple years. 3 years. You have players who don't ever come back. And I'm not even talking about track. I'm talking about other sports, football, basketball. It's hard to be able to maintain that elite level of performance. And Donovan did that. Came back running a 142 in his first year, coming back, making the USA team, making it to the semifinals at World Championships. That is a feel-good moment for me because it gives some insight to where us older guys, we can still do it. We can still come back and just wipe the dust off, and we can be young again too. It's all up here, baby. It's all up here.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I know, Rod, you had some conversations with actually with Brazier, right, at some point in time.
Oh yeah. Great guy, going through the motions, coming back, finding himself, and then he dropped that dime. Watching him train, he was training by himself, and then he dropped that dime on 143, and then he took off from there, which is crazy.
Yeah. To hear like how his story was to come back, he actually in some form was like, I don't know if I really want to come back. But his significant other was like, no, this is what you want to do. This is who you are. This is where you need to be. Like, so go train, go to practice, stop sitting at home, stop sitting under me, go out there and be the Donovan that the world knows you can be. And that's what happened this season. Like watching him bounce back and the way he bounced back was very remarkable and very inspiring, man. Donovan Brazier, hats off to you, man. We hope to see more consistent times, performances, and just show that dominance that we once loved to watch from you again, man, going in 2026, 2027, 2028, man. Handle business, man. That was a good feel-good moment for sure. What you had, Rod? What was your feel-good moment?
My feel-good moment isn't even associated with an athlete of track and field. My feel-good moment was getting the appreciation from other entities outside of track and field, like the pivot, having track athletes on the pivot, having track athletes on Funky Friday with Cam Newton, having track athletes on Nightcap. That was my feel-good moment of the year, especially in the American market where, track and field is not that popular.
I like that one, man. I like that one a lot because also the fact of a lot of athletes were on the pivot. A lot of athletes were on Nightcap and Funky with Cam consistently. So it wasn't like just one athlete. It was the fact of you had TT Terry, you had Melissa on there, you had a few other athletes that were on there, you had Noah that was on there. So it seems like these guys, and shouts out to Shannon, Cam, and Ryan for showing up and help representing track and field that needs to get that pub, needs to get that recognition, and just these athletes who work hard and who are super talented. That's a really good feel-good moment. It makes me very proud to realize that there are people out there of stature who do represent and respect track and field and the hard work that goes into it. That's a really good feeling. Definitely, man. What's the next one we got coming up? We got What went wrong? Now, we have best bets. We have people that we say, hey, man, they're going to have a great season. They're going to dominate. They're going to win a gold medal. They're going to get on the podium. There's no way they're going to have a bad season. And then something goes wrong. It could be mistakes on their part or just misfortune in 2025 for them in their season. Who are y'all's picks? Who you got that what went wrong?
You up, T-Will, for me?
It's your turn. Yep.
Man, Grant Holloway not making the final.
Ooh.
That was a big one for me. Yeah, I mean he might have been very competitive and maybe not medal, but him not making the final. If you told me he wouldn't have made the final, even if he was hurt, blew my mind. And then and my other one was, we talked about it earlier, Jamaica's 4x1, them not medaling. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Or not making the final either.
I think that was a tough one, especially for Grant, because I feel as a champion, a consistent champion where you can't mention the 110 hurdles without mentioning Grant's name. I felt like he felt obligated to make sure that he showed up. And he maybe felt like this year was a year where it wasn't going to be easy, but he had to gut it out and kind of grind for it. And hopefully that grind and that gutting it out was going to still lead to a gold medal and being on the podium. But I think we realized that you've already proven yourself. Like, we know how great you are, to the point that legends that are in your event already say that you are better than them. So show up when it's necessary, man. Don't go out there, feel like you have to come out there at 50%, 75%, or 80% and think that's going to get the job done. You're definitely racing against talented individuals who actually look to you to to better themselves. They're studying you. They're learning your techniques. They're learning how your race strategy is. So for you to go out there half cocked or quarter cocked and thinking that it's going to get the job done, it's this day and age is not going to get it done. You know what I mean? So I preferred if he would have sat out this season and just watched, and he would have watched how it would have unfolded. He would have saw who became the world champion, and then the headlines would have been going into next season, Grant Holloway versus the 2025 world champion. You know what I mean? Like champion versus champion kind of style. So now he has to dig himself out of this doubt that people may have of him, which is okay, and be back to the champion that we know and the caliber runner that we know he could be, because he's a truly talented individual. So, I hope he gets better, because you watch him, it's almost like Noah's season, where he still showed up. He still ran good times, because Grant still came out there running 13-1s, and he navigated through those rounds, but not the way we know he could. But it was the fact of he wasn't as sharp as we know he could be. So I think next season we'll see a better Grant for sure. Definitely.
And that goes back to the point we were talking about earlier. It's hard to be that top dog consistently. So it's like, I'm more interested to see, all right, when you do fall off, how do you react? Do you stay down? Do you wipe the dust off and get back and tell them and remind the world who Grant Holloway is? And I think that he will do that in these next couple seasons coming up.
For sure. What was your pick? What you got, T?
I kind of spoke to this earlier. This was Julian Alfred, and now, since I have new information, since my sources clearly lied to me that she wasn't hurt, I'm really intrigued what happened in that finals, because I've been telling myself, and I've been getting good sleep at night, like, hey, Troy, she was hurt, that's why it didn't really come through. But for her not to get a silver medal, to me, there was only one person that could beat her, and we know Melissa. So I don't know what happened. Like, prior to this conversation, I just thought she got hurt and it was just a bad race for her. So I really want to go back and look at that and just try to see what happened for her not to get at least a silver in that 100-meter final.
No, she was hurt at Worlds, but
that's what I was referring to.
Yeah. So I think just
at World she was. But before then.
Before then, they were saying she had an injury, and then she debunked it. But not that.
So I'm specifically talking about at Worlds. Yeah.
But
so she was hurt at Worlds.
Even at Worlds, even if she wasn't hurt, she would have to run fourth fastest all the time. She would have to go somewhere she's never been. So that's why it's hard for me to kind of
I mean, that's what
conceptualize
Melissa did.
what
She
you're
went
saying.
somewhere she's never been. So it's like when you have that opportunity, Melissa
Right.
never ran. Yeah,
She went there 3 times. She's been somewhere Julian's never been 3 times. Julian's
yeah,
never ran 10-6, period.
yeah.
I got you, but I
Mhm,
mean, listen, she's building consistency. I got that with
mhm.
No,
the three
I'm,
10-6s,
I love
but
Julian. Yes.
but in the finals, it was only going to take one 10-6 to win. So even if Julian had a 10-6 in the holster, right? She's gonna have to pull it out and go somewhere, like Rod said, that she's never been before in an exact moment in time
Yeah,
to where it's going to be the most special moment for her, right? To be able to be the top dog or be the gold medalist, which is a
hmm,
harder bet than saying, okay, my consistency lies in 10-6 because I ran it 3 times already. Now I know I
gotcha.
can run 10-6 fairly easy, you know what I'm saying, compared to like
Hmm.
my opponents. And maybe if I push it even harder, I can go 10-5 because there has been reports where Melissa has said that what would she think went different in her season? She said she thought she was going to run 10-5. She thought she was going to run 10-5 and 21-5. So that tells you right there where her training and where her mind was. And obviously the plan that her and her coach had was we're going 10-5. So let's go for
Yeah,
10-5. So if we don't go 10-5, what's the worst we can happen? We'll go 10-6.
And
So
then no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
and let's be clear. My I would say what went wrong wasn't so much that Julian didn't beat Melissa. It was I felt like she was the second fastest
No,
at
hundred
least.
percent,
Yeah.
100%.
Hmm.
100%. No, I get that. I get exactly what you're saying. I'm just saying in our sport, when you watch somebody run a time that you were trying to run and run it multiple times, it can do something to you mentally. Hence,
Yeah.
2015, Justin Gatlin 9.7s. Hence, Usain Bolt out the gate, breaking the world record in 2008 against a Tyson Gay. It does something to the person who's been training to do that, and you just be like, what the hell? And then just not that person to the rest of the field. The rest
Yeah.
of the field is like, okay, we running for second and third because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
doing something we've been trying to do and we can't do it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Definitely. Over to the chat, man. Chat, we appreciate y'all being in the chat, man, for sure. Appreciate y'all reaching out and giving your opinions. Cosmic Root says, I thought Julian got injured while racing. Yes, she did. I think that she probably was injured or tweaked something after that during that 100 meters, and that's why she wasn't able to run the 200. That's what we hear. So anything before World Championships where there was stories about her not running one of those Diamond Leagues or one of those races before Worlds, it was whispers of her being injured then. And then she came back on a show and debunked that maybe a couple of weeks ago and said she was never injured. I don't know why that was out there before World Championships. So that's where it kind of lies. Yeah, Kenneth Woods and Devin were like, Masai. What went wrong with Masai? I can't speak on Masai on the technical aspect of where she went wrong. Actually, Dawn touched on it when she was on the previous show that we had with her. And it was more about how she approached a couple of set of those hurdles, especially in between. I think about like hurdle 3 going in through hurdle like 5. It wasn't the best technique. She didn't execute it correctly, and it kind of threw her off. Man, hurdling is for a lot of people who never even hurdled before. Hurdling is one of those places where you're battling everything. You're battling against time. You're battling against opponents. You're battling against 10 barriers. You have to make sure your technique's on point because you can't go out there and say, oh, I just had a sloppy race. If you ran just the straight 100 meters and just you still can be able to live and fight another day. If you have a sloppy race in the hurdles, you can fall, break something, maim yourself, so it could be crazy. So for the fact that she didn't set up her race strategy or race pattern as she should have probably is one of the reasons why she didn't make that podium in that situation. But at the same time, it's like, that's how track and field is. She goes out there and runs 2:12:1s this season to show that it wasn't a fluke the first time, got a little banged up injury, came back and ran another 12:1 to show you her, but then not able to capture that world championship gold medal. I think it just got more fuel to the fire for someone like Masai, who is a dog, who is a championship caliber athlete, to go out there and say, you know what? Let me make sure that this never happens to me again while I run a finals. And how is that going to happen? I got to put it away. I got to make 10-1 consistent. Like how you said earlier, Melissa makes 10-6 consistent. Masai has to make 12-1 a consistent race for her to be able to separate herself from the rest of the field. And I think that's something that she probably is going to work on for sure.
Listen, the 100-meter race is probably one of the most unpredictable championship races for the last 5 years? You've had a different 100-meter champion. 2019, Nia Ali. 2020, COVID. 2021, Camacho Quinn. 2022, with the girl name from Nigeria, Toby Amasan. 2023, the champion is what's her name? In Budapest, Danielle Williams from Jamaica. Yeah. 2024, you have Masai Russell. 2025, we have Kembunji. For the last 6 years, I just named you a different champion for the last 6 years. There's not one who can run it back and run it back.
That's
that
very
shows
volatile.
You the complexity of the event.
That's very volatile.
It's that hard. It's that hard. No matter what you run, there can be a different champion. We could be looking at somebody else. Great start next year.
It's a great start.
That was them hurdles, especially the female hurdles, it is a battle. It is a battle for sure. Like you don't know. It's like a grab bag. You just put your hand in there, kind of look away, just put your hand into the bag and be like, who's going to be the winner today? Oh, there you go. Kembunji, you have won the world championships. Congratulations. Pick up your medal at the door when you leave and your coat. Thank you. So let's move on to the next one. What we got? What's the next title? Up now. What went wrong? And then now we have Underdogs Unleashed. How did that go for y'all? Because we had some good races.
Yeah, I think it's me on this one. This year I had to give it to Cole Hawker. Like, to be able to bounce back after getting disqualified in your main event. And like, he was like, all right, that didn't work. Let me just hop over here and see what happens. He's only ran the 5,000 2 times that year. He ran it one time in June and one time in August. And when he ran it in August, he ran a 13:26. In the finals, during the World Championships, he ran a 12:57. That's about a 30-second drop. He hasn't really been prepping for this. So to just hop in a new race, hey guys, just win a gold medal, like that's insane. That shouldn't and doesn't happen on this level. So huge shout out to Cole Hawker for bouncing back, having a short memory, and reapplying them skill sets in a different range.
Yeah, watching Cole Hawker in that 1500 getting disqualified with that little shimmy he had, like that. Excuse me, like
I'm like,
walking,
really?
like he's trying to find his seat at the movie theater. Excuse me. Like him be able to do something like that and then getting disqualified. Usually people just be like, man, they're gonna lay down after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For him to go that 5,000, to be able to do what he did and be able to show up, watching him win the Olympics in the 15, I was like, a part of me was like, did Cole win, or did the other guys were so consumed with themselves and each other that they lost? But this world champion showed me that Cole is actually a gamer, right? Now he has a flawed race strategy that's been spoken about, which is he allows himself to get boxed in hopes that lane 1, the inside lane, gets opened up towards the end of the race where he just kind of can mosey on down the track and be able to snatch away that gold medal while everyone else is distracted with each other. And obviously it proved right for him at the at the Olympics last year, but it got him disqualified in the world championship this year. But for him to come back and back it up and go and say, you know what, I'm going to win. I came here for a gold medal, and that 5, I'm getting that gold medal. So shouts out to him, man. He showed that he stepped up to the plate on that one for sure. Who you had, Rod?
I had 2. One we just spoke about, Kembunji and the 100-meter hurdles. I didn't see that coming. Underdogs Unleashed, surprise first-time gold medalist. My second one is Colleen Kemenashekbi of Botswana, winning the 400-meter gold medal.
All right, yeah. EF talks about it in the chat. EF just said, Obviously, Masai was killing the season, slipped up a little bit, but Kambuji stepped up to the plate. Even when Kambuji came across the line, she didn't even look up. She dove across the line with her eyes closed, thinking that she was squeezing out a bronze medal, like, trying to get on the podium. And then she goes out here and fixes her hair real quick and be like, good job, girl, good job. And then she looks up and is like, oh my God, I won. Like, she didn't even know that she won. That's the crazy part. And I actually can throw that into the feel-good moment, because those moments where athletes work so hard and they just blindly are working to the point where she's like, I just went out there and tried to put the best race I could put together. I didn't think I was going to win, but my best on that day got the job done. And that's what happened for her. So I'm happy for her that she was able to get that job done. Kambuji, step up to the plate. You a big dog now. You got a gold around your neck. Show us what's going to happen in 2026, 2027. Congratulations on being that underdog who got it done.
Justin, the chat's correcting you. Coach Osborne, Shaniki Osborne is Brian Lavelle's coach.
Oh, okay. All right. Shouts out to Coach Osborne. My bad. Miss Osborne at that too. So shouts out to her. Hey, shouts out to you, Coach. You doing a damn good job over there with Brian Lavelle, for sure. He's one of my favorite runners right now, for sure. Mm-hmm. What we got next? Underdogs, fresh fits, spikes, and ugly uniforms.
Look, this one for me. Nike always got. I'm going with the shoe companies. I think some of y'all remember the countries, but the shoe companies, I like Nike's fit. Nike always have the best designers on the spikes and everything else. I think the newcomer to the brand, they need to come with it a little bit better. On running, they need to tighten up with their spikes and tighten up with them doggone running kits. They got to tighten up.
Who's
agree.
that, On running?
On running, yes.
I was just saying, I agree with the spikes. Nike, they undefeated. But as for the apparel, I gotta go with Nigeria. I'm loving their the swag, the look, and they're also backed by one of my friends who I grew up with, who started Actively Black. It's down for the people. Throw the fist up and it's representing for us. They're doing some really nice stuff. Nigeria is one of the teams that they representing. And now on the worst, the ugliest, I've never been a fan of Netherlands. I'm just like, Femke Bowl, please go somewhere else, because them colors are not working. Go to Nigeria, go to USA, go somewhere else. That orangish blue, like, I don't know what that is, but it's an eyesore every time I look at it.
And the thing is, with the blue and the orange, it's a great scheme to where you can do a lot of good things with that, right?
Yes.
Instead of just going straight big old orange like you have right here on the screen, like, they could really put more creative thought into what that uniform could look like for their country, right? I like the fact that you have companies like how you said earlier, right? And Liberia also is backed by a Black-owned company that is making uniforms as well. I love that. I love that for our sport. I love that they're connecting to actually African countries as well.
Wait. So you telling me you ran the spaghetti straps?
I'm retired, man.
Hey, I'm not gonna
my
lie.
Traps, my trap's too big for those spaghetti straps, my boy.
You saw Matadi in them. Matadi, whoa. They had Matadi in him last year in the Olympics, and he was rocking it. So it's like, hey.
Hey, that's Matadi, man. Matadi can pull that up, but I know what, Jay Gat can't pull that off, man. Listen, I'm gonna have those spaghetti straps on. I'm gonna go over to him and be like, hey man, we gotta do a little more fabric back here for me. You know what I mean? My traps and my shoulders, my scaps are getting cold because I don't have enough fabric back here. I'm gonna need something else, a little more support on the backside. You know what I mean? You know how they make those bras where it gives them support on the front side? I need a little more support on the backside with this uniform. But shouts out to them. I love the fact that these Black-owned companies are really stepping up to the plate and not only kind of like showing their talent and their creativity, but they're doing it on a large scale level to where they're making outfits and making uniforms for teams like Nigeria and Liberia. So shouts out to them, man. They're doing a great job. Hey, Rai Benjamin spikes that he showed early in this season, undefeated. Amazing, beautiful spikes. Yeah, you got to check it out, man. Rai Benjamin.
I'm about to Google them right now.
Yeah, he had some spikes this season that were like kind of one of one. Like they were kind of like a little midnight blue iridescentness to him or something like that. So he had a great great little pair of spikes that he pulled out. New Balance gear was very good. Who had New Balance gear? Was it the kids?
Nah, but you could do the shoe company or you could do the country. So
I know,
mine
but
was the
in
kids,
the chat they were talking about
the New
Intel was
Balance
talking
kids
about the New
had,
Balance gear.
yes, from
Isn't that what Quincy
that
wears?
yeah,
Young Quincy?
Quincy,
Yeah.
Sydney,
Yeah,
Gabby,
Yes, Sydney.
Vernon, yeah, all of those guys. They wear
true,
the
very true.
Trayvon, that kit. You know what I mean?
I got
So
you.
I
I
was
got you.
talking
Are
from a
they
shoe
spiked?
company
Like,
standard.
are there spikes in them? Because like the ones that Quincy wears looks like
Yes,
there's not like.
no,
Okay,
there's
because
spikes on the bottom. It's built like a shoe, and it has a really cushioned upper. But they actually have a pretty solid spike also.
So it's like a
okay,
hybrid. It's like a hybrid. So
Yes,
it looks like a running shoe or racing flat, but when you turn it
okay.
over, it has like track
the
spikes at the
spikes
bottom.
in it. Yes,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it's supposed to supplement to where like when Nike has that air bubble,
Yep.
that cushion now is for what New Balance uses instead of the air bubble, right? So
Okay.
but I'm gonna go out there and say that I wasn't too pleased with Adidas. And I know in the fashion world sometimes simple is best, you know what I mean? But just the whole just red uniform, they could have did a little better than that, man. Just red uniform with the white stripes down the side. Maybe it was just a year for them just to kind of take a vacation and not really be creative. Because usually in the past, if you watch, Adidas actually has very creative uniforms in the past that look actually very well. Maybe this was a year where they was like, we're gonna take a break. Just here's some red uniforms. Y'all go out there and have fun. We'll see y'all next year. But I think they could have stepped up the game a little bit. And
listen, they best year was when they had the power suits. You remember it looked like
oh,
Spider-Man was all over the back end junk. Tyson used to
Oh
wear it,
yeah.
all of it.
the
They that right there was the best Adidas suit ever came out, boy.
it was like the plastic,
Spider-
it was like the plastic rubberized strips that went through the whole suit, right? Yeah, that was dope.
Yep.
That was one of those moments where
That-
you be like, man, I wish I had that. I wish I was representing Adidas.
Switch teams right quick.
No,
Just for
no,
1
and
minute.
I think that was actually the year where Nike had us wearing like that whole purple and light blue tie dye we had. I was like, man, look at this, man. Where we get this purple tie dye? They got the whole Spider-Man suit over there, man. That's what we need. Hey, so what we got next, man? Who did it better? Last one of what we got on our topics. Who did it better? When it came down to it, sprinting, distance, who had a better season overall? Now, when you think about this, I hope that y'all think about it, especially in the chat too. Think about the body of work and the headlines that either side made, right? When you think about distance, think about men and women, Cole Hawkers, the Faiths, all those kind of things. And also think about the dynamics of, Sydney, what she did in the sprints as well, to Oblique, to Melissa. Who did it better? Who
Okay,
got it?
I'll start it. So, so first off, I want to start off by saying I am biased. And to be transparent, anybody who is a sprinter, you're gonna be biased regardless if you know it or not. But I do have factual information to back my biasness, and I would say the sprinters did it better this year, not necessarily because of the men, but because of the women. When you break it down and look at it, you have Melissa Jefferson 10.61, which is the fourth fastest time. You had her run the eighth fastest time in 21.6 in the 200. Messiah Russell going 12.1, which is the second fastest time. You got the 400 had two women, not one, but two women going sub 48 with Paulino and Sydney. And then you have the 400 hurdles, Bowl running 51, which is the second fastest in the world championship. So they're stacked in everything from the 100 to the 400 hurdles, different races. We have been top 10 times in each of the different distances. So it's hard to compete with that.
Definitely. That's a good point, man. Really good point. What you got, Rod?
Mine is the sprints, but I think distance is starting to catch up. I think more people are starting to watch the distance races, such as the 800, the 1500. Cole Walker, I would have not known who Cole Walker was before, but those distance races I actually watch now, I actually enjoy. So I say that distance is not far behind, as far as it was behind previously. I say the distance races are now catching up with Faith Kipyegon doing what she did, doing a world record at Justin, you and I were there when she did it, you know what I mean, in the 1500. So I just think they're catching up.
And I think part of the reason as why that's catching up is because, like you were saying, last year or 2 years ago, we wouldn't have known who Cole Hawker was. Another example is looking at Fred Curley dropping down from the 4 to the 1. And I think he said the 1 is for play. But the funny thing is that the 1 gets all the attention. Who is the world's fastest person? The 100-meter person. So the distance that gets the most attraction will get the most athletes focusing on that race, which will kind of take them for other different distances in that. So as more notoriety comes to the more distance race, people who may be 800 runners may go up to that 15. Those people who are 15 may go up to the 3 to 5. So it's like as more notoriety comes to those races, I anticipate that those times will start to drop as well.
I like both of your takes, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you by the slimmest of a margin. And I say that because I feel like it became almost a photo finish and distance got it. And I only say that because we're so spoiled to know and watch fast sprinters. We expect it, right? And of course, we see young athletes like a Maurice Greedon or a Tate Taylor or Brendan, like those guys running, sub tens, right? So we look at those times and say, man, those are amazing, very entertaining to watch. But for me, watching a 16-year-old go out there in the 800 and run 142 and to run where that last 50 meters was actually faster than any other 50 meters he had in his whole race, like that is mind-blowing impressive to me. Like then you go and watch how Keeley had opened up her season with one. Was it her PR rod? Did she open up with her PR or close to it?
It was close. It was close to it.
Close to her PR. And then obviously, like you said earlier about Faith and what Cole Hawker did as well in the men's 1500 period, how the times have steadily dropped, not just like by one person or two people, but the field itself is closing in on what Rhodesia has done, which was amazing too. So for me, it's very exciting to watch the distance / middle distance kind of like ramp up now and be more exciting to watch. So they got it for me by the slimmest of margins. And I think that they're going to keep that same pace going on, man. So that's what I had. So, but hey, great topics, great points all across the board, man. Also with the chat, man, y'all did an amazing job. Thank you for your inputs that y'all had, man. T, you want to give him a little spill on where you at, man, what you doing over there? And you got your adult track club that you got going on. Y'all, chat, he is a pioneer in the adult track club business. So let him tell it real quick what that is about, man, because I know we have a lot of people in the chat who still kind of compete or run or want to stay in shape and they don't know how to, and maybe it's something they can do where they're at or they can come to where you at, bro.
Exactly. And thank you for giving me time to talk about this because this is something that's near and dear to my heart. I've been running track since I was 8 years old. And once I was done with it, once I was done with college and even sports, I didn't want to lose that aspect. And I didn't want to really just lose that sense of competition. We're out there doing real practices. This is not a run club. We are doing 200 repeats, 400 repeats. We have 50 watches for people to go out there and actually time themselves, engage where they are, teaching people how to pace, teaching people how to run so they don't necessarily get work. And it's blowing up. In our first practice, we had about 40 people. Now we're averaging around 100 people per practice out here in Austin, Texas. You can follow the page. It's Adult Track Club. And we're just having a great time and just really kind of bringing that youth back to us. Although we're not in these organizations and sanctioned sports, you can still go out there and compete regardless of what age you're in.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I know if you get a chance, man, bring it down to Houston, man. They would love to have it here as well.
I'm trying.
Right down the road.
It's blowing up more than I anticipated, and then we're trying to. People are begging for a second day because right now we're only running once a day. I'm sorry, once a week, and that's every Monday at 7:15. We're working on getting another location on Friday. Once we get that, then we're going to expand, going to Houston. Got someone else in Dallas who's trying to do it. So we're trying to get this thing to be nationwide. I want to give a huge shout out to Run It Back out in St. Louis. There's the one who started this whole idea. I can't even take the sense of that I started it because it was really them. I kind of followed them and kind of replicated down to here to Houston. So again, huge shout out to Run It Back. And I'm just trying to really create that young mentality. We can still compete just because we're not on the track and we don't have FAT time, and this hand time is just as good.
Hey, that's true. That's true, man. So anybody out there that wants to be able to get back out there, hey, he's telling you how to be able to do it and where to do it at, man. So shouts out to T Wolf, man. If y'all want to check him out, man, his Instagram is at T Wolf 2 O's LF 29, right? LF
Yes,
29.
sir.
So
T
y'all
Wolf
check him out.
29.
T Wolf 29, 2 O's, y'all. But also in the chat, Rainy White, yes, Beatrice. Beatrice had an amazing season this year. Forgot to mention
Yeah,
her.
Shabbat. Yep.
Shabbat had an amazing season this year. She did. And Linton, yeah, we definitely talked about the field events too. We talked about people who stood out in the field events. And we're going to talk about them a little more, what I'm saying, as the season progresses, this season, upcoming season too. So we don't want to give them the short end of the stick as well. We're growing as a chat and we're talking about things that we know and we're learning and getting better at certain things that we may not know fully about. So that's how we're working together as a community, man. So we definitely want to talk more about the throws, the jumps, everything that consists of track and field as a whole, man. And that's why we're here to do that. So shouts out to them. Shouts out to everybody. Devin, appreciate y'all, man. The whole chat, EF, Melissa. We talked about Athlos in the last couple of episodes when the last episode we had
With Don.
With Don. So if you get a chance, Melissa, check that out. We talked about Athlos, an amazing event. One thing that did separate that from me was you got to realize that Athlos is an event that is for the spectators. It is to be exciting and entertaining. It's not necessarily going to break the event because someone doesn't run super fast as they should in a Diamond League. So everyone, if you go watch Athlos and Athlos in the future, be entertained by the fact of they got celebrities out there. They got lights, camera, action, pyros, everything. Who they had last year, Meg Thee Stallion, this year, Sierra.
Yep.
So they're doing something really different that has never been done in track and field that should be done. So shouts out to Athlos. They did an amazing job again this second year around. And can't wait for what they have to bring because they're going to bring 4 legs of Athlos going into next season. And there's been whispers that he's going to make a event that's going to also incorporate men's sprinters as well. So shouts out to Alexis for really trying to pave the way and bring some entertainment to track and field. And he says it. He says that I don't know track and field from a level to where I'm an expert in running in events, but I do know how to be able to make money for the athletes and entertain the fans. So I think someone like that in our sport can help elevate our sport to a different level. And anybody else that wants to step up to the plate and be able to do something like Alexis is doing, I think we open the door and welcome them too, man, because that's what our sport needs. It needs a lot more attention. So with that being said, man, we got another one in the books, and we appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Ready, Set, Go.
Ooh.
We out.